Hi tribe, this is Jax. Today in my kitchen we're going to make a very simple home remedy for coughs, colds and flus. So anything with congestion, coughing, sinus infections, this little tea that we're going to make is going to help open up the airways. It's going to help with expediting your well-being in the end, okay? You're going to need a few ingredients. You're gonna need some bay leaves. This is dried thyme from my garden. About a half a lemon, honey, and these are extra options. Ginger, and you can actually do white pine. This is white pine. The reason I know it's white pine because it has 5 needles. You can use a 2, 3, 4 needle pine, but this is the white pine. And then some water. The other options would be peppermint essential oil. Now with this, I normally don't promote ingesting essential oils, but for this, you're really gonna just dip a toothpick and you're gonna dip it in your peppermint, and it's literally just gonna put it like a dab in your tea, and it's just gonna open up those passages if you're really congested. And then also if you have tulsi tea, nettle tea, chamomile, or if you're like it's during the day, you just want to feel a little bit better, more energy. Cup of sunshine is one of my favorite teas. It has canna and honeybush herbs in it. So how do we put this together? So depending on if it's nighttime, for the nighttime, you're obviously going to use a chamomile tea bag. And if it's for the morning, you're going to use a cup of sunshine. And if it's like in the evenings, maybe something like tulsi. It has a lot of benefits. And then nettle tea also has a lot of really good benefits. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the stove and we are going to put in 2 cups of water in your saucepan. We are going to add 8 bay leaves. Now bay leaves are really good for anything chest congestion. It's an expectorant. It's going to allow the mucus to break up and allow you to cough it up really easy. All right, so that's what bay leaves are really good for, an expectorant. It's going to really help with the mucus coughing it up, coming out of your lungs. Okay? All right, and we're gonna bring that to a boil, and we're basically going to simmer it for 8 minutes. Now to that, while that's boiling, you can also add some of your other options. Now I'm going to add some white pine, and I'm gonna chop it roughly because I want to make sure that I can get them out when I strain this tea. Okay, so you want about a teaspoon or so. You want a teaspoon or so of that pine needle. Now this is optional, simple, just do your bay leaves and honey and lemon and you're done. But if you want to make it a little more potent, that's what I would do. Let's see, I'm going to add just a couple chunks of ginger. Okay, and all that is going to simmer for about 8 minutes. Now you can, instead of the bay leaves, you can do a teaspoon of the thyme. All right, so I would do one or the other. Now you could do both of them, but it's gonna be probably better if you just keep them separate. So 8 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of thyme. And that's pretty much like, these are your main herbs that you're doing. The thyme and the bay leaves are your main congestion herbs. Now the thyme is going to be good for drying up your nasal cavities, drying up the sinuses, drying up any mucus that's down in the throat, post nasal drips. That's going to be really good with thyme. Thyme is a dryer. So we now have the tea starting to boil. So we're going to set our timers for 8 minutes. Okay, start. Do you see how it's roaring into a boil? So you want to turn down that heat a little bit. You just run like a simmer light boil for 8 minutes, and that way it allows the water to extract the properties of the bay leaves, the ginger, and the pine. Now I didn't talk about the pine. The pine is really good for detoxing the body from viruses and everything that's going on this, nowadays. Now I can't get into too much detail why pine works, but you can do your research about pine and any kind of viruses. All right, I'll leave that up to you. So it's been 8 minutes and our tea has changed color. So it was obviously like water and now it has a nice tint to it. At this point, you're going to strain the herbs out of your tea. So you're gonna get yourself a mug, a little strainer, and you're just gonna strain it right into your teacup. Alright, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna juice a half a lemon. You're gonna pour it right in. And you're going to pick your tea, whichever tea you want. We're gonna go with the cup of sunshine today. Okay, now, so we're gonna put the tea bag in there and we're gonna brew the tea bag for about 5 minutes. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do, so your tea bag has been brewing for 5 minutes or so. You're going to take your tea bag out, put it in your little bowl, your little plate. And this is where if you're really, really congested and you need extra support, take your toothpick and kind of dip it in the essential oil. Typically, you don't want to do more than 1 drop of peppermint essential oil. So so that's enough. So I'm just gonna put that in there and stir it in the tea. If you need more, just try to do 1 drop, but I would do 1 drop away from the tea. There. So got 1 drop in here and then you're gonna stir it in your tea. Okay. All right. And then the last thing you wanna do is honey to taste. I would say just maybe about a teaspoon. Honey has amazing antiviral, antibacterial properties. So when I use honey as medicine and remedy, not necessarily as a sweetener for regular cooking. Okay. And that is it. This is your bay leaf lemon, simple cough congestion remedy that you can make at home and get to feeling better. All right, shalom.